I'm Jonah Comstock, Editor-in-Chief at Pharmaphorum. I'm here at the Novo Nordisk Foundation headquarters in Copenhagen, Denmark. I'm joined by Thomas Carlsen, the CEO of the Novo Nordisk Foundation Cellerator. And the Cellerator is a new endeavor. You've been in place for a while, but it's just getting off the ground. So tell us a little bit about what it's going to be, what it's going to entail.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So that's true. A couple of weeks ago, the Novo Nordisk Foundation board approved the initiative called the Novo Nordisk Foundation Cellerator, which is basically a laboratory facility that will support the development of novel cell therapies for patients mainly with chronic diseases, but also with rare diseases. So it will bridge the current gap in the cell therapy ecosystem from proof of concept in animal and then going into early clinical trials, meaning the phase 1 and 2 clinical trials. So you can say one of the major challenges currently within the cell therapy development space has been that the breakthrough in the research laboratories have had a hard time reaching actually testing in patients. And one of the major challenges or barriers in order to reach the patients has been to secure facilities that can both mature the initial protocols through process development, meaning scaling, upscaling, and scaling out of the processes that actually are going to produce the cell therapies, and then subsequently also producing and manufacturing in a GMP setup the cell therapies for the early clinical trials in a compliant manner that lives up to the expectations from the health authorities. So that would be the scope of the Cellerator, and it fits very well also with the market analysis that we have done prior to the approval of this project, that first of all, the cell therapy space is expanding a lot these years, but also that the far majority of the products will be situated either preclinical or in early clinical phases, which is exactly where the Accelerator will operate.
And that's going to be right here in Denmark, but in a new facility, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be placed at the Technical University of Denmark, which is a bit north of Copenhagen. And it's a very deliberate choice. The Technical University of Denmark has a decade history within cell manufacturing and is focusing also a lot on cell therapy technology development. And we're also collaborating a lot with them around training and education within the cell therapy space, because currently there's a major workforce gap within the field of cell therapy development. So we want to think about how is it we can support the talent pipeline development, so we are supporting the future needs, not only for the Cellerator, but just in general for the cell therapy space.
So you talked a little bit earlier today about the sort of distinction here between cell therapy and stem cell research, and how you're kind of focusing on accelerating some of the areas where the industry itself isn't quite self-sustaining or isn't easy to make it in. Can you talk a little bit about that distinction and sort of where you're going to be focusing your energies?
Sure. So I think the two answers to that question. One thing is that the cell therapy field has focused a lot on the immune cell therapy development and pushing that forward. And I think that has had some very important wins in terms of securing new treatment for patients. That area is quite mature and quite well supported also in Denmark. We are focusing on the stem cell based therapies, which is where we see the field is actually moving. It is also moving over there in terms of securing off-the-shelf product for the patient. The current immune therapy setup is more for one patient only, so where you take cells from the one patient and give it back to the same patient. We are focusing on the off-the-shelf products, but from a stem cell based origin. So that can either be from induced pluripotent stem cells, or it can be from embryonic stem cells.
So, starting something new, what are your kind of major priorities for the first year?
So you can say the facility will not be completed until 2027. So we have a bit of road until the final facility where we'll do the hands-on cell therapy development in collaboration with the researchers coming in. But we'll not wait until then. There's a lot of things to do. One thing is to actually design and build the facility. So the team is focusing a lot on designing, locking the scope and the design of the facility. But we're also going to commence services already next year, focusing on early engagement with the researchers that are doing cell therapy discovery. There's a lot of critical decisions that are important to do early on in your cell therapy discovery, because we know that that's going to be the expectations from the health authorities going into the clinical trials. So we're interacting with the researchers and guiding them and supporting them in the best way possible, not only from a hands-on point of view when the facility is complete, but years before as well.
So cell therapy in general is a very exciting space, and folks who've been watching my videos know I did a whole lot of interviews at CAR-TCR in Boston a few weeks ago. Learned a lot about what's happening there in solid tumor, in outside of oncology, and also about some of the access and pricing challenges and infrastructure challenges facing this space. So when you take a step back and look at the whole cell therapy space, what do you think are the most important next steps for the industry, and how will you be involved in kind of trying to push this along?
So as you also mentioned, there has been some extremely important wins, especially within the cancer therapies, mainly based on immune cell therapies. Where we think that the field is going is that it's going to go much broader in terms of the patient population within given indications, that being, for example, heart failure and Parkinson's, type 1 diabetes, and so forth. So the patient populations and thereby the need in terms of cell therapy manufacturing would be much, much broader. So that's going to be a major hurdle to ensure that we can produce efficient and robust cell therapies, and at the low cost. Right now it's very costly to produce and manufacture, basically develop cell therapies. So we're entering strategic partnerships to secure that, and we're also ensuring from a business model point of view that the Cellerator can ensure access for as many researchers as possible, both public researchers but also private researchers going into the facility, so that we can ensure that as many novel treatments are actually reaching the market. So we see that there are pain points there, and we want to support it.
What will be the requirements for participating in the Cellerator? If there's a company that's listening now that thinks, hey, this could be for me, what is that process going to look like?
Yeah, so that's a work in progress, but we will have a priority board that will make an assessment of clients coming into the facility, because we want to ensure that it's that the product going into the facility actually will have benefit for the patient. So we want to ensure that it can actually reach the market, both from a safety and a quality point of view and efficacy point of view, but also from a commercial point of view, since if there's no business case, then it will never reach the market. So it will be a combination, and we will collaborate with several partners also in the Novo Nordisk ecosystem, for example, the Bioinnovation Institute, to ensure that we kind of utilize those competences, both within the quality and the impact assessment of the clients coming in, but also the commercial opportunities.
And there's been a lot of conversation today about that balance between impact investing and return investing. Is that something you think about as you're thinking about sort of how you're going to be designing this program and this facility?
So you mean in terms of the clients coming in, or in terms of the Cellerator, the company?
I suppose the choosing the clients.
Yeah, yeah. So.
But you just said you're going to be making sure that they're actually producing something that's going to help patients. So
yeah, exactly.
That's sort of the mission driven, the impact side.
Exactly. That will be our main focus. To ensure, like, make that assessment and ensure that the benefit, the envisioned benefit, and also our evaluation of the benefit for the patient, that will be the major driver of it. And you can say the Novo Nordisk Foundation Cellerator will be a spin-out company of the Novo Nordisk Foundation, but all revenue that are generated in the Cellerator company will either be reinvested into the company, either as technology development to ensure optimized services, so we can generate the best products for the patients in the end, or it will be used as a tool to ensure that as many customers as possible can enter into the facility, because we know that different clients have different runway in terms of finances.
Right. And we are expecting the space to just grow and grow. So you need to have a flexible model that's going to be able to support that.
Exactly. So we are both supporting that from a business model point of view, but we're also going to support it from a facility design point of view. We are creating a facility that is extremely flexible, so it can encompass or it can accept a vast variety of client needs depending on where they come from and what their requirements are, so to say. But it will also be disease agnostic, so that we will make sure that it can support as many types of indications as possible. And one of the tools there is to support the implementation of platforms for manufacturing cell therapy.
Anything we haven't talked about yet that you think is interesting or important?
I think you have covered the most essential. So thanks for the interest, and we look very much forward to support the cell therapy ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks so much for talking with you, Thomas. It's an exciting time for you and for Novo launching this new thing.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for the interest.